We open this week with a poem for this week. I am a humble poppy. I grow both far and near, on fields of green in foreign lands, a memory of those not here. How proud I am to represent those that were so brave, and now I sit so proudly upon their unmarked grave. Their spirits are now free to fly above these fields of green, and now I grow, my colour red, just resting by the stream. So now I'm warned to remember them, the ones that went before, brave boys and girls and animals that were lost to that thing called war.
Thank you. Thank you to Tony for reading that. And of course, thank you to Eunice for writing that. This week is, of course, our remembrance service. We've got much to get through. I apologise for the lateness, everyone at home. And I apologise for the, Groundhog Day for everyone in the hall, because I forgot to turn the camera on. I will be honest about it. But nonetheless, good evening, friends. Good evening. And welcome, of course, to Littleport Christian Spiritualists this Thursday evening. We'll begin and flow as always. We have a reading, another one tonight, of course. We have the philosophy, we have our notices, we have our healing. But of course, we begin as ever by giving a huge welcome to a dear friend of this church. Someone who knows me so well, she gives me funny looks when I say things that are obviously not true. Because that's how much of a family member she is. So please give a proper Littleport welcome to our good friend and medium for tonight, Tracy Bidwell. And of course, do send your loving thoughts to her throughout the evening. And of course, to begin this service, we open in prayer. So please join with me for one moment as we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, we thank you for the opportunity to unite in love, in friendship, in laughter, upliftment, compassion and truth as we come together to celebrate life. We recognize that life can be difficult. We recognize that life can be hard. And we recognize that we humans can sometimes make that process even harder. But we also acknowledge at this time, Great Spirit, that we are the ones that can change that. We are the ones that can make that difference, to bring up the vibrations, to bring up the love, and to help lift the veil that we may touch the souls and spirits of all those that have gone before us, who wish to come forward and demonstrate that there is an eternal life, that there is a continuity of life, and that we can unite and make a change for the world. And so with all this in mind, we place this service in your care and keeping and make the statement as ever that everything we do is in love, truth, and in light. Amen. Well, friends, some quick notices because I need to get a wriggle on. We have, of course, got the Drum Healing Circle, White Feather, meeting this Sunday. And it will be in that room over there. It will be from 10 until 1. I've been practicing, what can I say? There will be drum healing to begin. There will, of course, then be a impromptu circle session developing some means and focus of spiritual and psychic development as part of that circle as well. It's really, really worth it. It really, really is uplifting. And that is right there in that front room there. No. That's if it's available. That's if it's available. I'll double check for you. But But there we are. So it's still this building anyway. So you're not going to go too wrong and miss it out. And of course, then the workshop will be the following week, which will be from 10:30 till 3:30. Don't look like that just because I'm getting times right. I'll mess it up some point. Don't worry. It will be from 10:30 till 3:30 the following week. The reason it has swapped round is because, of course, this week is Remembrance Day on Sunday, and Reverend Alan's sister Dot will be joining me to lay that wreath on all of our behalf at Littleport. So it is quite a very personal and touching one, because we will be laying it not just on behalf of this church, but on behalf of Alan as well. So do come along and support his circle on Sunday if you can. And then if you're interested in the workshop, put your name down with Mum or come and see me afterwards, and we'll have a chit chat. But of course, I don't know. You'll find out when you get there. Someone says, is it psychometry this week? It is psychometry this week. There you go. So, this week, of course, is about remembrance. Everything that leads up to an occasion, an event, a moment like this always gets the mind thinking and always gets one passing thought about the condition in which we live. As spiritualists, we actually talk to those that have gone before us, and so would be well aware of their opinions as to what state the world is in. Remembrance Sunday is about making a statement. Never again. It's about acknowledging sacrifice. It's about remembering those that gave up everything, that we might be able to do what it is that we want to do in love and light, of course. But of course, it is so much about saying never again. It was Santayana who said, "Those who ignore the lessons of history are cursed to repeat them." We come together every November to remember the mistakes of the past. But do we consider those mistakes every day? As people who are spiritual, we are supposed to unite and remember those what in the world of spirit are trying to teach us and tell us and advise us and guide us. But the truth is, my friends, humans have one fatal flaw. They try to blame concepts rather than take ownership for the mistakes of the past. Oh, it was them, it was him. Oh, it's religion. Oh, it's politics. Oh, it's land. No, those are concepts, human-made concepts. We humans must do the one thing that Spirit have been telling us since the foundations of modern spiritualism and beyond and before in all of the other traditions that exist in this environment, this spiritual setting, this mystical term. Personal responsibility. Do unto others, and it harm none, all spring to mind. These are the lessons, not of religion, not of groups of organized people, but the lesson of spirit, the lesson of God. Just be kind, forget all of the trimmings and trappings, and just look after each other. In November, we come together to talk about that. Looking around at the world, I don't think we talk about it enough. There is pain and suffering in the world caused by weapons. But I was always told that one of the greatest weapons is the pen. For the pen is mightier than the sword. Words are the tools of a pen. Words are mightier than the pen because they are the ones that wield the pen. And guess what? No matter who you are or where you come from, no matter your education, no matter your learning, no matter who you are or what you do, you all have words. We all have words. And those words can be used to harm or to heal. At this time of the year, I am reminded that it is, as always, when talking of those that have gone before us, about healing our grief. We must unite and use our words to heal, to unite, to bring together. And I don't care whether you left school with no GCSEs, 5 8SCs, have a degree, have a diploma, are a poet, a philosopher, some wizened person. Whoever you are, you have an opinion. You have every right to share it with the passion and kindness that it should be placed. And I don't think the silent majority share their words enough. So this is a call to the silent majority of all that is good and great in this world to stand up, to share your words in passion and kindness. Speak your truth plainly, politely, and with love and compassion, and make a change to this world. Because the silent majority are good and great, but we cannot succeed if the majority are silent. So share your words, share your passion, share your laughter and your love and your healing too. Because that is what was fought for so long ago and what we must protect every day. So thank you all for listening, and God bless you all. And so now, speaking of healing, it is time to ask Tony to step forward and lead us in healing. Oh, I do. You're right. Told you it was. There you go. It makes up for getting the times right, doesn't it? I was going to do the reading afterwards. I don't know what I was up to there. And now it is time, of course, that we have our second reading of the evening, which in some way may tie in with what I have apparently said. But this week we are going to ask Caroline to step forward, who has got something to share with us. So come on down, Caroline. Come on. Let me plug you in.
Stood up in front of people in years.
And I will be.
At least I don't have to sing. Oh,
I don't know about that.
no. Sorry, it's on my phone because if I don't have my phone with me, I wouldn't have it with me. So, okay, so it's called Life is Lost. Life is lost, but do not grieve. Fear not, for now I am free. Flying, soaring way up high, but I will still be by your side. Life is lost, but still goes on. Sometimes it will seem too long. One day again we will be as one, but until then you must carry on. Life is lost, but don't be sad. The sun still shines and good things happen. You must look forward and be strong. It's only sometimes things go wrong. Life is lost, but remember, you'll see. When you look in the mirror, you will see me. So smile and live your life, be happy. Life is lost, but you should not be. Jumble of words that came together.
Well done. We have got quite a few budding authors in this building today because Caroline wrote that herself as well. So well done, Caroline. Beautiful. And now is the time that I will ask all those that wish to provide healing to please raise and go to the back of the hall ready to see some hands. And I will ask Tony to lead in healing, and I will prepare myself to push a button and help out too.
More healers than people.
Third time.
Yeah. Well, that's the change, isn't it? More healers than people. That's great. If you'd like some healing, just raise your hands. 2. Surely we'll encourage another 1 or 3.
I'll have some.
Yeah, there we go. Another one. Okay. Healers, you know where to go. Central to this way of life and our belief is the need and practice of healing, and it transcends all walks of life. So, Great Spirit, we ask that you send your power to our healers here and send your healing to those not here, but in need of healing, whether it be in mind or body. For when we gather together and healing is asked for and given, the power of our healing is multiplied exponentially. Healers, you may commence. Thank you, healers. Just bring yourselves back. And as I say every week, thank you to those of you who asked.
And again, thank you to Tony, to all of our healers, and of course, everyone who asked. Healing is a foundation, cornerstone of love and light and spirituality, and it doesn't get the promotion that it deserves sometimes. Really does matter. So thank you all. Well now, in spite of Nick's various and varied kafunga boo-boos, in spite of the fact that I forgot to turn the camera on, and we had to start again, we're actually on time. Isn't that brilliant how Spirit do that? Because I know that you're only here to see Tracy, so please, if she should come to you, please answer in a clear voice, yes, no, don't know. Because let's face it, we're all nosy, want to know what's going on. but of course send your love and thoughts to her throughout this evening of upliftment and joy. And of course, should we need to evacuate the building, you know where it's coming next. Our exits are here, here, and through here. And if the curtains start twitching and the chairs start floating around, you can follow me. I'll be the first one out. But that's not going to happen. But of course, do give a huge Littleport welcome to our friend and medium tonight, Tracy Bidwell.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your kind welcome. And thank you, Nick, for inviting me. Okay, so the way I work is I just go with whatever happens and see what happens. You just never know. Like we say, it's an experiment. Okay, so bear with me. When I was sitting down there, I heard someone say, "my boy." I do believe it's a gentleman I have with me, and it would have been a term that he would have used, "my boy." So I do feel I'm with one of the gentlemen here this evening. I do feel with this gentleman that he was probably about the same height as me. I do feel also a shortness of breath as well. I also feel with him he was a gentle soul, but also he could really speak his mind if he really needed it. Okay. I also feel with him as well that he was a loving family man. Can anyone take any of this information? It's just that thing where he said, "my boy," to start with. May I work with you? Is this your dad? Granddad? Okay. And I do feel with this gentleman, he was quite witty and dry sense of humour. Would that make sense to you? Okay. Okay. I also feel with him as well that he could be a bit mischievous, and he was very good at teasing people. And you're very much like that as well. You like to sort of, you know how to press people's buttons. Can I say that?
Yes.
Okay, and he's laughing as well. Okay. He's also showing me, he's taking me back. And what I can see is being by the sea. And I do feel this gentleman would have really enjoyed being by the sea. It was something he enjoyed. And I do feel that towards the end of his life, he wasn't able to get to on holiday. Yeah. But I do feel with him, he said something was planned, but he never got to do it. Would that make sense? Some sort of break or getaway he was meant to do. Maybe. Okay. I also feel with him as well that he was a man of many different talents and knowledge, but all the knowledge he had was more of life knowledge. So it would have been, he would have known a lot about different topics. Would that be right? And he says you're a bit like that as well. And he does see traits in you that are in him as well. Okay. You'll have to excuse me, but I've got a hearing aid in, and this is like giving me feedback.
Is it the proximity?
I think I've got it in my left ear. I can sort of hear my voice in my head. I know I'm used to voices in my head, but that's better. Thank you. I do apologise for that. I haven't had it long. I've only had it a few weeks, so I'm just getting used to it. Thank you. That's much better. Okay. Getting back to your dad. Okay. I also feel he's taken me back, and he's giving me. He's almost setting the scene for me, and it's almost as though he's taken me up north somewhere, sort of like Newcastle area. Would that have been somewhere he would have visited when he was younger, or would that be something you don't know? It's just that I know the area about South Shields, around that area, and I'm being drawn, he's showing me that area as being significant. Well, hold on to that, because he's just mentioned that to me. Okay. I also feel with this gentleman that he was a very hard worker. And he also does have some regrets that he didn't spend as much time with his family as what he wanted to. Does that make sense? It was like his work was quite demanding, so he was quite tired. He's not telling me what he did, but I do feel that it took a lot of his mental and physical energy.
Physically.
Yeah. Okay. He's also showing me a suitcase, so I don't know if this is you, whether you're planning to go away. But it's almost as though he's taken me to May, June time. He's just showing me a suitcase, he's taking me to May, June, and he's smiling. So to me, that's quite positive. So I'll leave that with you. Okay. I do feel with him as well. He's a gentleman that, although he came quite close, he steps back, and I do feel this gentleman would have done that at times. He would have stepped back and let things go on around him and just watch. He was one of those gentlemen that really took wherever he was in, and he liked to take that information. He liked to watch people. He liked to observe. And later on, you'd find out that he'd either be watching you or watching somebody else. He was like that, so he'd step back and just watch. And he said, again, you're a bit like that. You just like to watch people, how they are, how they respond. And he said, that's good, because this is how we gain our knowledge, is by watching and observing, especially people's behaviour. And that's something you're interested in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm seeing here, he's showing me a memory, and I do feel it maybe with you and your dad. Something to do with a wheelbarrow. There was a bit of mischief going on or something, but it's just showing me with a wheelbarrow. Would that make sense at all? Somebody's sitting in it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. He's also saying something about a theatre or the arts, something like that. Would that be around you, or would that be around him? I know we were talking about theatre earlier on, but he's almost like, it would have been something he would have been interested in. I don't know if it's the music or whether it was actually the drama side of it, but he's making me aware of that. So again, I'll leave that with you if you're not sure about that, okay? Okay. Right, he's getting ready to go. I can feel his energy getting sort of like lower. But he wants to leave you with, I don't know what it's called. It's a great big, it's like a flute, but it's Australian.
Oh, didgeridoo.
He wants me to leave one of those with you. I'm not quite sure why, but take it and it will become apparent, hopefully, for you. Thank you for working with me. Okay, as this gentleman walks away, I've got this lady come in. I do feel with this lady, she is quite a feisty lady. I do feel with her that her energy is really quite positive. I also feel with her as well that she was a very hard worker. I do feel with her as well that she was a lady who liked to be heard, but she was a healing soul. I do feel that she was a good listener. I do feel she helped a lot of people out. I do feel that she was somebody who could be relied on. Okay. I do feel I might be with you. May I work with you? I'm going to walk on this side. The camera coming with me. Do you recognise this lady at all? Okay. I also feel with her as well that she was a very principled lady. She had strong morals, and she always used to say that manners never cost. She was very, very, felt strongly about the please, the thank yous, and the general
Yes.
Manners. Okay. She's also showing me that, okay, so I've got her standing on a road, and when she's standing on this road, opposite, I see a church, and this would have been something she would have seen on a regular basis. So she would, I don't know if she lived in a village or not far away from a church, but she would stop and she would look. So I'm not sure if it's, she thought about going there, but she never did, but I do feel that she's standing there looking at a church. Okay, this church has got like a gateway, it's got a brick wall, it's got a spire, and it's got the graveyard to the left of it. Would that make sense? Okay. I also feel with her as well that she could be misunderstood at times, and some people thought she was a bit harsh at times. But that wasn't what she was truly like. It was just that sometimes she wanted to get things out and they come out without her thinking. And she says she could be a bit like that at times. Okay. I also feel with her as well that family meant a lot to her.
Yes.
And she liked this time of year as well, the build up to Christmas. Although it was hard work, she really enjoyed every minute of it. Okay. And it's almost as though that okay, she's taken me to her hands as well. Would there have been an issue with her hands? Because I do feel that she couldn't move them properly. She was going, I can do that now. Yeah. Okay. So can you take that one now? Okay. She's also taken me around you. And it's almost as though your thoughts have been going out to quite a few people recently. Whether or not it's the time of year that's brought, the closeness of the spirit around you. Obviously you're a healer, so you can feel those energies. But it's almost as though there's been more of late. That makes sense. And it's almost as though everybody's starting to gather around you, because this would have been something around this time people would start, like I say, preparing for that Christmas event. Okay. I'm also seeing, as a memory, some sort of car or go-kart thing that would have been around you. It would have been something that would have been knocked together. This lady said it would have been something that was knocked together. Does that make sense? But she's laughing. She said, and the best things we had were things that were just put together on this further moment. Okay. She's also going back to you. She wants me to just say to you, there is so much more to come. There is so much more that's going to be opening up for you. I know I can't give evidence of this, but what she's saying, she is with you every step of the way. And I do feel that this lady had a gift as well.
I can say that.
Yeah, but she said, I was not able to talk about it. I was not able to share that with you when I was on the earth plane. But she said, now I can. Okay. She's also showing me, she's like taking me into a house, and as I go into the house, I do feel that there's stairs on the left-hand side, and then you sort of like step in, but there's not a lot of room as you step in the house. And then on the right-hand side, you go into a front room or sitting room or something. She's taken me into this house as a memory, so I do feel it might be a little way back. But the reason she's going into this house is because there's something particular about the table. It was a round table. That makes sense. And there was always something in the middle of that table. Can't quite see what it is. There was something, an object that she was proud of that was in the middle of that table. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And another thing she's saying, stop watching the clock. You need to live in the here and now. Try not to put so much pressure on yourself. Would this make sense? And it's almost as though she says, sometimes I feel like fiddling with the handle of the clock, so just to see how you respond. Bit mean, isn't it? No. And she's laughing. And this is something else that she wants to bring to you. She wants to bring more laughter. She says, sometimes we have to find that child within. She says, and sometimes we forget and we need to enjoy life a little bit more. Would that make sense to you? Just take her, love, and she is a lovely lady, a very strong character, and she said, you are so much like me. We can cope with anything, okay? Sometimes we're down there, but we know how to pick ourselves up, learn from what we've done, and move forward. If this makes sense. So take her, love, and thank you so much for working with me. Quick with the camera. Okay. So I have another gentleman with me, and I do feel with this gentleman that he's dad, granddad, or uncle. I'm not quite sure. I do feel whoever he is very maternal and very loving towards the person he wants to speak to. I'm not sure who that is yet. I do feel with this gentleman as well, he's shown me some sort of uniform. I can't see whether it's the services or it's just a uniform. But I also feel with this gentleman that he would have seen or passed some sort of railway, either on the way to work or he lived near a railway. Would this make sense to anyone? Yeah. Okay. I also feel with him as well that this isn't. Is this Francis? He's done it again, hasn't he? He sneaked in. Okay, may I work with you? Okay. So he's showing me the railway. I'm not sure what his connection is with that because I don't know loads about him. But he's showing me the railway, and I do feel this sense of pride with him about the railway. So whether he had some I also feel with him as well that would he have done acting or something? Because I do feel that he wants to stride and he wants to talk to everybody. And it's almost as though it's quite dramatic as well. Would that make sense? But it's almost as though he would have been quite happy actually on stage. Okay. He said that you wouldn't be, would you? Okay. What else did he show me? Would you remember a holiday in a tent that turned out a bit of a washout? There's something connected with the canal, and a connection I had a little while back was when I went to Birmingham. I actually went on a canal there, and it's almost as though it's taking you to that area. Would you have connections around the Birmingham area? Because I'm seeing the canals. You know when you go through and they're quite dark and there's not much room there. He's shown me that for some reason. He's shown me that image. So just hold on to that. Would you know anything about that, Nick? About the canals?
Yeah, he worked Yeah, that was me and him.
Okay.
We were looking after a lock.
Yeah, now you've said that, I can see the lock now. Okay, brilliant. Okay. He's trying to give me something that I don't already know, because obviously I know a little bit about him, and he was taking me there. I also feel with him as well that would he have done a lot of walking when he was younger? I just feel there was a lot of walking. He was constantly walking. But he actually enjoyed that. It was something he really enjoyed. He liked the quietness. He liked just spending that time outside. Does that make sense? Okay. He's also shown me it's a black tin box. Would this make sense to you at all? It's about that big. It opens up.
Yes,
You know which one I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. That's just another bit of evidence from him. But what he wants to do is just give you his love, but you know that. You know he's around you. You know that he's around both of you. So take his love, and he's just lovely, lovely energy. Thank you for speaking up. Thank you very much.
Try some.
That might help. Yeah, thank you. Because last time I come, I couldn't hear at all because I'd lost hearing in my ear. And now it's just like I'm hearing my voice like booming in my head. Okay. So I do have a gentleman that's just come into my energy, and I'm hearing the word brother. Whether that's around him or not, I'm not sure, but I just heard brother. I also feel with this gentleman that he was quite tall. I do feel with this gentleman that he had a lot of physical strength. I also feel with this gentleman as well that I'm hearing him say, I was a good friend. So that's really complicated because I don't know if he's a brother or a friend. So bear with me. Okay, I feel with this gentleman as well. He shows me himself in a casual dress. But this gentleman always seemed to buy the same thing. He used to have a lot of the same thing. Would anyone recognise this gentleman? He would have loads of things the same. Would that make sense? May I work with you? Would this gentleman be a brother, or I'm feeling that sort of relationship?
Yeah, it's a family relation with a brother.
All right, okay. May I continue? Okay. So I also feel with him. I said he was physically strong, and I do feel he was a man who used that strength as well. He needed to use that strength. Would that make sense? He's not telling me exactly what he's doing, but I do feel that physical strength was needed. I also feel with him as well that he left a family behind. Would that make sense? Yeah. Okay. I also feel a bit of sadness with him as well, so I'm not sure what happened around him, but he does bring a little bit of sadness. Whether that's his sadness, I'm not sure. But he's almost as though, it's almost like a bit like regret. Would that make sense at all? Okay, thank you. Now he's jumped on to giving me some more images of quite a lot of balloons. So I don't know if there's been a celebration around the family part he would have been in, but I'm just seeing lots of balloons and like party poppers going. Does that make sense at all? Okay. I also feel with this gentleman that there's a lot of music around him, so he would have listened to music. Would that make sense as well? And it's almost as though, he'd like to turn the volume up. Yeah. Okay. I'm also feeling that he's holding something in his hand. I'm just trying to figure out what it is. I can see a microphone in his hand. Would that have been relevant to him?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Arms, yes.
Okay, he just put something in my hand and think, what's that in my hand? Okay. So with him as well, I'm feeling this sense of real up and down. So I don't know if that was his mood or that's how he was. 1 minute he was okay, the next minute he'd be a totally different person. Would this make sense to you as well?
Yes, it would. Yes. It's in his professional working life.
Okay, thank you. Right. Coming to you, he's saying that you've noticed a bit more of things happening, more coincidences. Would that make sense? It's almost as though there's been a bit more than usual. You've always had these different synchronicities, but it's almost as though things seem to be falling into place now. Would that make sense? Yeah. And he's really pleased that this is starting to happen now. He says, but you've come a long way. You've worked really hard to get to where you are. So these things are seeds that you have sown and now coming to fruition. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And he just wants to leave you with this upbeat and positivity that you feed out to others. He's taken that on board as well. Obviously, when they pass, they realise what it is to live your life. And he says, you are living your life to the full now. And he just wants to be with you and walk beside you and be part of your journey. So take his love. And thank you for speaking up. Thank you. I feel I've got to put it on that mat because he's given me a mat to put it on. Then put it on the cloth.
You're safe, Barbara's not here this week. Should be the one that slaps, yeah. Should walk away.
Okay. I have a lady's energy that comes into mine now, and I do feel with this lady, she's got very, very cold hands. Suddenly my hands are gone so cold. So I don't know if this would have been a condition. I think there's like Raynaud's or something like that where your hands are really, really cold. I also feel with this lady that she was a family lady, and I also feel with her as well that she was a very quiet and gentle soul, but she had another side to her, like most of us. But this thing about the hands, would anyone recognise a lady who had really, really cold hands, who had a problem with her hands? Because I'm really feeling that as a physical symptom. Or as somebody here suffer with cold hands? I feel I'm with you. Do you suffer with cold hands? I mean, I know you're...
All the time, hands are always cold.
May I work with you and see where it goes? Is that okay? I do feel with this lady, now you've spoken to me, I do feel a drawing to you.
Okay.
I also feel with her as well that I'm not sure if she's an aunt or that type of relationship. You know that we have a lot of people that are connected to us. I do feel this lady is one of those that are connected to us by friends and family. I also feel with her as well that, like I said, she could be a quiet, gentle soul, but she also had this other side. She was very proactive, very positive, and if something needed, as she put it, a boot up the bottom, she would do that and like push them in the right direction. Would that make sense to you? Sorry? Okay. I also feel with her as well, she was a lady who in her younger days held down quite a few different jobs, or she had different roles. I do feel that she was a very, very busy lady doing different things. Doesn't seem to me that she just did one thing. It was a number of things. Or would that be you that I'm talking about? Yeah, it's almost as though there wasn't just one role she had. She had lots of other things as well. Okay. She's also taken me to her feet as well for some reason. Would there have been an issue around her feet? Oh, don't worry. Oh, just. It's almost as though it hurts when I walk. Okay. Thank you. Okay, what's she showing? She's also, I don't know if it's come from her or somebody's just shouted out Brighton. Would that be significant to you or this lady?
No.
Okay, well, I'll hold on to Brighton.
Yeah.
Okay. I also feel with her as well that she was a lady that really liked the company of children as well. If that made sense. She quite liked having children around, as long as they were well behaved, she said. Does that make sense? She added that afterwards. I thought, oh, this lady likes children. And then she says, as long as they're well behaved. So I feel that's her humour as well. And I do feel that she did have a good sense of humour as well. Yeah, not a lot of people got all her little digs that she had. Okay. I also feel with her as well that she was a lady, like I said before, she was one that knew her own mind. She knew what she wanted. She knew what she wanted to achieve. And she would do it. If she put her mind to it, she could do it. But I do feel that she did have a lot of trouble in her past. But that made her a stronger person. Would you know of that? Okay. I do feel this is where her strength come from. And she's taken me to you as well. There's things that have made you as strong as you are now. If that makes sense. And it's almost as though you have taken on board and you have learned from what's happened. But what she says you've got to be careful of, that it doesn't keep pulling you back. It's almost as though there's some triggers around you still that need to be resolved. She said, but on the whole, you're dealing with things on a day-to-day basis now rather than looking too far ahead. If that makes sense? Okay. She still wants to go around you. Have you noticed anything around you, like an energy or something?
All the time.
Yeah, and it's almost as though the moment your thoughts go out, as we all know, they come closer. And sometimes you think, oh, is it me, or am I imagining it?
No, it's them.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is definitely them. And it's almost as though they're ready, and they almost want you to take that step further and work with them more. Would that make sense? And this lady is going to be with you by your side.
I know, we've got all the furniture.
There's also a photograph that you have of you and her. Would that make sense? There's there's one of you, the two of you. If it isn't you, it will be your mum, because it's somebody with your same facial features that I can see. There's two people. Yeah. Okay. It's really random, but she's talking about mashed potato.
Okay.
Would that make sense to you? She's almost saying, what did she say? She just shouted out mashed potato. Okay, just keep that, because it may have some meaning, because quite often they don't normally give me stuff unless it has some relevance.
I actually thought when I was having for tea tonight, mashed potato.
You watch, and next time you have it, you're going to think of this conversation. Okay, I also feel with this lady as well. She left a piece of jewellery for you. Would that make sense? I can't see what it is, but it's something that would have.
No, she didn't leave her jewellery.
There is a piece of jewellery that was left.
I don't know.
It's a necklace. Okay. Definitely a piece of jewellery. And it's almost as though, I can see what it is. It's a locket that she left. Somebody will know about that.
Yeah,
Okay. She's also taken me to October time as being an anniversary or passing. She's taken me to October for some reason. It's being significant.
I can't remember when she died.
Okay, well, that's where she's taken me to October. And she's also...
She's Leo.
I have no idea.
They say October's Libra as well.
Okay. She's also taken me to April as well for some reason. She's taken me around that April area. And it's not from the past, it's going to be next year, April next year. There's going to be a significant event. and it's going to be a good event, she said. I'm ready. She's got a party frock and everything. So April, okay. I'm also, would you know of someone around you that went out with two shoes that were different? They looked the same, but they were different. Because she's taken me to that. Would that make sense?
It makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we come.
Okay. Well, she's laughing, and I'm going to leave her love with you. And thank you very much for working with me. Thank you. Okay.
Want to know the story? No.
You can tell us later.
Her husband bought a pair of shoes, right, and I was leave. And he says to me, I've got you a pair of shoes, Sarah. He said, but they look the same, but they're not. And I said, why, what's the difference? And he says, one's bigger than the other.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
But they were hard to feed, weren't they?
Okay. So, all right. Okay. I've got a gentleman that's come into my energy, and this gentleman's got really quite a deep laugh. It's quite a noticeable deep laugh. That's the first thing I heard from him and felt. I also feel that he was quite a tall gentleman. I feel I have to look up to see his face. I do feel with this gentleman that when he was younger, he had very brown, wavy hair. I also feel with him as well that he was a very elusive man, I should say that. He liked to go off on his own, and people quite often couldn't find him. I also feel with this gentleman that he had a good sense of humour, but also felt the need, like I said, to hide. Not hide as I want to play hide and seek, but just get out of whatever situation he was in. Would this make sense to anyone, this character? I do feel with him that he was quite a big presence. When he laughed, you really knew he laughed because it was quite a deep, felt laughter. Am I with... No, that's not with you. I do feel I might be with you.
I kind of take...
Can you take a living image?
Yeah, it's wavy hair. I'm not sure.
This is when he was younger, and it was just something he was proud of when he was younger. And there is a photograph of him. There is one of him. Well, we put that to one side. You can take the other information about where he likes to go off sometimes. And he said, you can be like that sometimes. Would that make sense?
Yes.
You like to go and hide somewhere, so everyone knows now on Facebook that you want to go and hide.
That's it, yeah.
No. And I do feel that his laugh was quite deep laugh.
Yes.
It was something that you would know.
Yeah, he had quite a deep,
Yeah, it was just...
deep voice.
I'm not going to do it because I've not got a deep voice. Okay. So may I work with you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I also feel with this gentleman as well. He did like to walk, but he was one of these that walked really fast, and it's difficult to keep up with. It's almost as though like 2 of your steps, one of his. That was just something.
Yeah, definitely. When he
He was just like striding with purpose. Okay. I also feel with him as well that, would it be him or you that's interested in history?
I would say it was both.
Yeah, I do feel there was a real great interest in history and dates and different places, historical buildings and things like that. Okay. Because I've recently been going around looking at castles, but he's just shown me all these different buildings. I wouldn't know where they are, but it's just got a flash of all these different buildings in different parts of the country. Okay. You said there's been some light flickering in your place as well. Would that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, that's him. Is that just me? Okay. I know we all have a bit of a power surge now and again, but this is sort of like purposeful flicking.
Yeah, this was a very good one yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. And it's almost as though you can, because obviously you're a healer, so you can connect to energies. It's almost as though sometimes you don't allow yourself to really listen to what they're trying to say to you. And that's because of confidence rather than anything else. Not that you can't, it's just that sometimes you refuse to believe that's what it is that's happening. Would that make sense?
Yes, it is.
And he's smiling. Okay. And I also feel that this gentleman would be a really supportive person as well. Whatever you did, he'd be really quite supportive. And he says you're like that with others as well. You offer that support. But
I do try, yeah.
like with him, you just like to go and disappear sometimes because I don't know if it's overwhelming or it gets too much, but you just feel you need to protect your energy and you just need to have that alone time. Like a lot of us that are spiritualists, we do like to have that own time. Okay. As part of a memory, he's showing me something to do with a kite. Whether it's you or him, I'm not sure.
Not sure.
But I'm seeing a kite, but it's in the shape of a bird with tail hanging down. Just hold that, because I think if you don't know something yet around, you will know. But there's a significance that somebody let it go, and it was never seen again. Okay, so this kite, runaway kite, whatever it was. So he just showed me that very quickly. Okay. I also feel as well, he's showing me a very cobbled street. So whether it's somebody somewhere he would have visited that meant a lot to him, I don't know. But I'm finding that it's all cobbles, and it's just, he just really liked to visit. I don't know where it is. He's not saying where it is, but I'm just getting,
know where it is.
you know, okay. Brilliant. He's also saying something about a curtain rail that fell down. Would that be him or would that be you? Something that just, it was put up and then suddenly the whole thing just fell down.
I have had someone fall down, but it wasn't a curtain rail.
Oh, I just, this thing fall down.
It did just fall. So.
Right. Okay. He's also given me, he's showing me a book that you've got several books that you've got that you've started reading but haven't finished. You just like pick at different things. But the book he's showing me has blues and reds on the front. That's all I can see. I can only vaguely see it. He's saying, go to chapter 4. Okay? Whatever it says. And he's laughing, so it must have some meaning for you. Okay, so take that. He wants to leave you with a roll of ribbon. I'm not sure why, but I'm giving that to you. A roll of ribbon. I'm handing that to you. You will figure out what it is for. He's not telling me, but he's laughing. He's got that deep laugh. I'm feeling that, so it's going to be interesting. We'll all want to know what happens with this ribbon. But take his love and his respect, you know.
Wonderful.
He looks down on you, or he's around you a lot. Just keep going and start believing and start talking and believing what you're hearing. Okay? Tell it as it is. That's what he's saying. So take his love. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, now let's go around. I can see in my head a ping pong ball bouncing around. If I don't give it to you, they'll just keep showing it to me. So there's a significant with a ping pong ball. I don't think it's beer pong, but I've got, I can see a ping pong ball. And then I've got a lady that's come in. I do feel with this lady.
You're fine, I'm just getting it closer.
I do feel a lady's come in, and I do feel that this lady could be quite mischievous. I do feel with her as well that she was a lady who liked to have a party. When she was at a party, she liked to dance, she liked to enjoy herself. I also feel with this lady as well it's something she really missed towards the end of her life, as I do feel her mobility was affected. I also feel with her as well that she's saying something about sister. So whether she had a sister or she is a sister, I'm not sure. But I just heard the word sister. I also feel with her as well that, okay. Like I said, whoever it is I'm coming to, they like to have a party. Is there anyone here that likes to have a good party? Good dance? Okay. And she's laughing. So you're laughing as well. Okay. So I also feel with this lady, she did have a serious side to her. She's still saying sister. So has anyone here got a sister in the world of spirit? Have you got a sister? Did she used to like going to family parties and things and like to have a bit of a dance up until she was unable to do that, she said? Okay. Do you like to have a dance?
A long time ago.
May I work with you? Because I do resonate with you. I do feel there's something there. Okay. I also feel with her as well that she was a lady who knew what she wanted.
Yeah.
I do feel that she was very determined as well. I also feel with her as well that she did have a lot of hardship when she was getting older, and she had to fight for a lot of stuff. There was quite a few battles that and you were always there for her as well. Would that make sense? You helped her deal with some of the things that she had to deal with, but you didn't know everything. Would that make sense?
No,
You don't?
I wasn't there.
Okay, let's put this another way. So she's talking about the battle she had and that there was help around her, but she's also having this fondness for you. Okay, it's almost as though she brings you into that equation. So whether or not it's the thought of she knew you were there, she needed you, but I do feel that there's a sense of connection with her. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I also feel with her as well that she was a lady that would have done quite a lot for charity. Would that make sense? Whether or not well, I say charity, but it's almost as though she would support it if it was needed.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And you're very much like that as well. You send your thoughts out.
Oh, yes,
I think we underestimate our thoughts and our healing. Sometimes it's by how we think positive about something. Sometimes it's about the words that we say. But that's you. You do it without realising. It's quite selfless. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean, oh, you give somebody 20 quid here, 20 quid there. It's the fact that you give your time, your thoughts, which is very underestimated. Okay? Okay. So what this lady wants to come and do is also bring laughter back into your life and give you more laughter. Would that make sense?
Yes.
It's like, it doesn't matter. Age is just a thing. It doesn't mean anything. We just need to take each day as it comes and enjoy those moments we have. And sometimes it's like, what's wrong with being like a child? Yeah.
Exactly.
What's wrong with being like a child? And it's almost as though when you laugh, you laugh.
Yes.
But quite often there's long periods that you don't. Would that make sense? And they do come close. They come close to you at that time and just give you that shove forward. And the last thing she wants to say is never stop believing in yourself. Okay? Because you give so much, like I said, with your words, with your support, and sometimes you don't realise the difference you make to people. Okay, so take her love. And thank you for working with me. Thank you. Okay, I feel like I've got a younger gentleman with me now. Ages, well, I do feel with him that he never made old bones. I also feel with him that he was very much a charmer. I do feel he was very good with words. I do feel that he was somebody who got on with everybody. I also feel that he had another side that people didn't always see. I also feel with him as well that he lived a bit of a charmed life. If he wanted something or needed something, it was there. Would anyone recognise this gentleman? I don't think he was... I should imagine he was probably 30 to 40s when he passed. I also feel with him as well that, like I said, he was a charmer. He was very polite. He was very agreeable with people. But I do feel that also he was a bit troubled. I also feel that there was a big pressure on the chest as well with him. Would this make sense to anyone? Am I with you? Okay. I also feel that, like I said, he had a lot of things that people didn't know about entirely, about the way he thought and the way he didn't manage with things. Would that make sense? Okay. I also feel with him as well that he did make an impact on a lot of people because, like I said, he was a charmer. He did make people feel good about themselves.
Yes, he did.
Okay. And it's almost as though I feel now I've said all that, he's gone to that place where he doesn't really want to say too much. It's almost as though he's going quiet on me, but I can still feel his energy and I can still feel this connection with you. Would it be friend? Okay. And I also feel it's just he wants to put his hand out to you and shake your hand and say thank you for what you did and for being a part of his life. Because without your influence, things could have been worse. That makes sense?
It does, thank you.
Okay. Was there an incident where one of you fell in some water?
Yes.
Okay, well, he wants me to give that to you.
Thank you, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
He just says, keep going, mate.
Thank you.
Keep going. So I'll leave that with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry I didn't get around to everybody, but it's lovely to be here this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Bidwell! Wow. I've got to say, I have got to say that is the first time he has come through.
I have spoken of him numerous times. But I've told the story of him many times in circles and workshops, and a few times here, because his name was Andy the atheist. And so I see a few faces recognising who he was. And I've got to say, that memory link, it wasn't me and it wasn't him, it was one of our colleagues. There was I wish Rebecca was here tonight. There was a manhole cover that needed a hole drilling in it because it used to build up with air. And when it got really, really rainy, that whole part of the car park would flood. And as it flooded, the air pocket would build up in the manhole cover and it would push it out and it would go off floating. And one of us would have to go and put cones around it and try and retrieve the manhole cover. But I wouldn't let anybody go anywhere near it on their own. And one day it was proven to be the case because me and Andy were flanking Matt and Matt was walking forward to get it and he wasn't looking where he's going. And me and Andy screamed out, stop, but he didn't listen and he took another step and he went down. Just as I grabbed hold of his collar, Andy grabbed my arm and we both yanked him up. So that's a very good memory link, and I haven't thought about that for a long time, so thank you. What a wonderful... And Andy, I can't say what he said on the platform, but he asked me to do his service for him when he was still atheistic. And he said he wanted me to do his service on the condition that I didn't do any of my God stuff. And I agreed, but then told that story just so I could get it in. But there we are. Thank you. That is actually the first time Andy's come through as part of a service, so thank you. It's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Bidwell! I'd like to apologise for everyone at home for the chaos with the camera. I went to press escape so this young man can see the camera and move it around. But I didn't press escape, I pressed power. And I turned it off for a few seconds. Fortunately, I was using my phone to do the speakings and the sharing the comments. So I just turned it around and shoved it at you while you were working and they could still hear you. So there is still a record. It was chaos for a moment, but I feel like that's been chaos all blooming day. So you know what? We're going to have a closing prayer, a raffle, and go home. No, we're going to have a closing prayer, a raffle, and some tea and coffee. If anyone's got anything to put in the tea, I might have one. But on that note, a big thank you, of course, to Tracy. Thank you to Tony for the healing and reading the first reading, and of course Eunice for writing it. Thank you to Caroline for your writing/reading. I'm sure we all really appreciated it. I know I did. And of course, thank you all for being here and supporting this place, this group, this mission, this family. So thank you all so truly very much. And may we join together to close this evening in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity to unite under your banner of love and friendship. As we go out into the world this night, let us take with us the warmth and unity that we find in this place. Let us move forward with upliftment, joy, love and laughter. And let us find our voices, speak our truths with kindness, love and light. And so until we meet again, in your name, amen. I know why I'm a bit chaotic today. I'm trying to give up caffeine. And I can feel it. And everybody here knows how much Pepsi Max I drink. And I'm all right. Look, I've been good. I've been on water. So I'm trying. I gave up the fags in February, and I haven't touched one since. I'm on a puffer, but I haven't smoked a cigarette since February, and I'm now working on caffeine. Thanks to Dawny for introducing me to caffeine-free Pepsi Max, so I can still taste it, but I'm missing the caffeine. But there we are. Thank you all for being part of tonight. Do take love, light, and truth with you. Thank you. And next week, we have Dawn Foley as our medium, or to put it another way, just so everyone knows that I'm not actually as bad as they think I am, next week our medium is Dawn Foley. There we go. Look at that. Not only am I remembering dates, I can now start putting the poster up behind me on the wall at the end of the service. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, thank you very much. Boom! And on that note, I will now remove that because I'm now starting to get a little bit excited because I actually got something right. So there we are. That's your medium for next week. There we go. Magic. But of course, we thank one more time our medium for this week. Give it up for Tracy Bidwell. And so, may the peace of the Great Spirit, everyone at home, of course, we're going to say goodbye to everyone at home first. May the peace of the Great Spirit go with you all. And from all of us here to all of you out there, 1, 2, 3, good night. And God bless you all. And I'm sure you're pleased it's all over now. Good night.